Well, yes, because Royal Mail workers are back on strike today after a meeting between the union reps and the company stalled. The Communications and Workers Union says around 115,000 of its members are joining picket lines this morning.
Well, this latest action tees up 19 strike days between now and Christmas, including around Black Friday. Well, let's talk to our East Midlands reporter, Will Hollis, who's at Royal Mail's Beeston delivery office in Nottingham. So, Will, it's all going to go pretty quiet. It's going to create quite a backlog of mail, isn't it, quite quickly?
Yes, well, the CWU themselves said they expect this to have a dramatic impact, particularly in the run-up to Christmas. This weekend was already planned action, but it was only earlier in the week that we heard of this 19 days of additional strike action. So that would lead right up until Christmas, and also on significant days like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Of course, those are big days for online shopping. Now, the CWU General Secretary Dave Ward said that this is a significant announcement, but it's one that matches the level of anger held by its members at the Royal Mail Group and the way that they've been treated. Of course, this is to do with pay. CWU says they had a 2% pay increase imposed upon them. That figure has gone up slightly during the months of discussion, but they also say that they're having conditions forced upon them due to the changing nature of the mail industry. Of course, there are fewer letters being sent in this day and age, but there are more parcels being sent, and that's what Royal Mail says this is about from their angle. They say that they're a business that's losing £1 million every day and must change faster in response to the changing business environment. It's very cold here today. I will say it's 6 degrees, but there are lots of people on the picket line behind me, and they say there are going to be more people. Of course, this is the biggest day of strike action so far for Royal Mail members, 115,000 of them up and down the country at mail offices just like this one. And of course, it comes at a time when we're not just seeing strikes for people that might be postal workers, Royal Mail, Post Office. We're also seeing it on the rails as well. We're going to have another weekend of strike action from ASLEF members as well as RMT union members as well. And the reason that this is all quite significant for this week particularly is because we saw at the Labour Party conference Sir Keir Starmer announce that public energy company, if he was in power, if the Labour Party was in power, they announced Great British Energy that would be publicly owned. So public ownership has never been in the headlines, certainly not since 2014 in this way when Royal Mail Group was first sold off. And I think quite an interesting little caveat of that conference was when Dave Ward, the General Secretary of the Communication Workers Union, said to Keir Starmer he'd like to see him down at a picket line. He even offered him a bacon butty. Whether we will see that change from Labour Party policy to say Shadow Secretary, Cabinet shouldn't be down on picket lines, because we saw Sam Tarry, who was the Transport Secretary, the Shadow Transport Secretary, sacked from his post when he joined a picket line. Whether we see a change in policy as we see the growing popularity of this Labour Party, we will have to wait and see whether we do see any of those significant people, maybe Keir Starmer, on a picket line this weekend.